Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Sheviit, Perek Yod, Mishnah Vav. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to discuss real estate that's needed for a Perozbol. So if you're writing a Perozbol, we'll see in this Mishnah that you're not allowed to go ahead and write it if the person that you lent money to doesn't have any land, any property. The Rishonim discuss why so. Harambam doesn't give a reason. I'll say just two Pirushim over here that I saw. One could be that, someone like this, to write a Perozbol, to say, I'm going to collect money from this, from this person, even though he can't pay back, right? That's already falls into the category of the gosetreo. That's already taking advantage. It's too much. Right, that's already too much to try to, write a Perozbol on someone like that who can't even pay back. Right, he doesn't even have a land, he doesn't have a home, he doesn't have anything. Right, that's someone that you can't write a Perozbol for. Or alternatively, other mefarshim, other Rishonim explain that it just didn't fall into something that was matsui. It wasn't something that was common. Right, it has someone who doesn't have any property, and Hachamim didn't allow the takana, something that was just uncommon, just didn't fall into those parameters. Okay, but now we're going to discuss either way. We're going to say the person who borrowed money needs to have land if the person who lent him wants to write a Perozbol. So en kotvim Perozbol ela ala karka. You only allowed to write a Perozbol if the borrower had money, had land. Im en lo, let's say he doesn't have anything. He could go ahead and give him any amount within his property, right? So if I lent money to someone, I could go ahead and I'll give you a little piece of my land. Harambam over here says anything. So the Yerushalmi explains, I feel kelach shel keruv, right? Even a little piece of cabbage, right? That's enough, right? Just that little area, that's fine, right? That's considered enough to be considered real estate, and then you're allowed to go ahead and write him a Perozbol. Let's say he had a property, a field, but there was a lien on the property in that city. Right, so he lent out money, but there's a lien against that property. There's a mortgage on it, or he actually has it in the contract that someone can go ahead and take it. Harambam even says over here, even like the mashkanta de surah, right? Mashkanta de surah, he explains that sometimes they would go ahead and lend out some, they would borrow money. Let's say I was to borrow money, and give someone in the place a collateral. Right, so now they have my, a collateral in place. They're in my home that they're using as a collateral. They're eating there, they're everything, and they're not even going to pay me rent afterwards. Right, even that type of lien, right, where it's property that I may own, but I have there's a lien on it to the point where I'm not going to see any dividends from it in any way, shape, or form. Even so, you're allowed to write a Perozbol on it. Rabbi Sheviit Omer. Right, you let to write to a man on the property of his wife. Now, okay, and the yatomim and to orphans on the property of the apotropim, they're caretakers, right? Sometimes the dad before he passed away, or sometimes the betin would appoint caretakers for these orphans. And it seems like over here, even if it's not property real estate, but other types of property, you're allowed to write it. Hamim allowed for it. Rambam says over here he doesn't see anyone that's arguing on it. So seemingly halacha would be like him.